Hare Krishna, my name is Alakananda Devidasi. I am an initiated disciple of His Grace Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhuji, who is a direct disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. In this video, I shall give you a brief summary of Chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita as it is, the opulence of the Absolute. Bhagavad Gita is the sacred Indian text spoken by the Supreme Lord Krishna to the Kshatriya warrior Arjuna about 5,000 years ago on the battlefield of Kurukshetra to motivate him to do his duty. Bhagavad Gita contains the essence of all the Vedic wisdom and serves as a valuable spiritual guide that helps us all to lead happy and peaceful lives. In verse number 1, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that he will reveal further valuable knowledge to him because he considers Arjuna to be his dear friend. In his purport, Srila Prabhupada nicely explains the meaning of the term Bhagavan that is used for Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The term Bhagavan was coined by the great sage Parasara Muni, the father of Srila Vyasadeva, who is the author of the Vedas. Bhagavan means one who possesses all the opulences to the maximum extent. The six major opulences are beauty, wealth, strength, fame, knowledge, and renunciation. Since Lord Krishna has all these opulences to the fullest extent, he is accepted as Bhagavan by all the great sages and religious authorities. In this chapter, Lord Krishna describes his various manifestations and opulences. It is important to know more about the Lord, especially in the association of devotees, because it helps us to progress spiritually and to become more fixed in our devotional service. In verse number 2, Lord Krishna explains that neither the demigods nor the great sages know about his origin and opulences because they too have come from him. Lord Krishna is the original primeval Lord and is the cause of all causes. Everything emanates from him and he is therefore called the Absolute Truth. In verse number 3, he reveals that those who know him as the unborn, the beginningless, and as the Supreme Lord of all the worlds are undeluded and become free from all sins. Srila Prabhupada clearly explains in his purport that Lord Krishna is understood only by devotional service and not by any other means. All activities done under the direction of the Supreme Lord Krishna and confirmed by scriptures, the bona fide spiritual master in the Parampara system, and by saintly persons are considered to be truly auspicious and transcendental. They are free from the reactions of pious and impious activities of the material world. One who acts in accordance with the Lord's teachings is a true sannyasi and a true yogi. In the subsequent verses, Lord Krishna explains that he created various qualities of living entities such as intelligence, that is, power of discriminating between good and bad, knowledge, that is, understanding what is spirit and matter, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, mind and sense control, non-violence, fearlessness, and so on. Srila Prabhupada nicely explains that fear is caused by absorption in the Lord's illusory energy. Those practicing Krishna consciousness or bhakti yoga sincerely understand that they are not the temporary material bodies, but the eternal spirit souls, parts and parcels, and the eternal servants of the Supreme Lord Krishna. By always serving the Lord sincerely, they are confident of going back home to Godhead in the spiritual world after this lifetime. Hence, they are not afraid of death. Anything that promotes the future spiritual happiness of people is called non-violence. Samatha or equanimity refers to freedom from attachment and aversion. Things that are favorable to our Krishna consciousness should be accepted, and those unfavorable to our Krishna consciousness must be rejected. Lord Krishna reveals that the four Kumaras, the seven great sages, and the Manus or progenitors of mankind come from his mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them. He is also the origin of Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods. One who is convinced of the opulence and mystic power of Lord Krishna surely engages in unalloyed devotional service to him. Verse number 8 is an important verse. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all the spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Srila Prabhupada clearly explains that several authentic scriptures such as the Vedas and the Upanishads confirm that Lord Krishna is the origin of all living entities, including the demigods. Lord Krishna is the supreme controller and nobody is equal to or greater than him. By acquiring this valuable knowledge from the bona fide spiritual master and the authentic scriptures, one becomes truly learned and engages in sincere loving devotional service to Lord Krishna and thus attains spiritual perfection. Verse number 9 is also an important verse. Matchitta matgata prana bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Srila Prabhupada clearly explains the wonderful qualities of pure devotees in his purport. They dedicate their lives completely to the transcendental loving service of Lord Krishna and their minds cannot be diverted from his lotus feet. They talk only about transcendental topics related to Lord Krishna, his numerous forms, glories, and pastimes. They derive immense pleasure and satisfaction by discussing with other devotees about him. Initially, they relish the service, and in the mature stage, they develop pure love of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada refers to the plant of devotional service as explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 19. First, the seed of bhakti is sown in the heart of the devotee by the mercy of Guru and Lord Krishna. By constant hearing and chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, the bhakti creeper grows higher and higher until it penetrates through the coverings of the material universe and enters the spiritual world. It eventually reaches the topmost Vaikuntha planet, Goloka Vrindavana, and rests at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. There it bears flowers and fruits. The ripened fruit of the devotional plant refers to the development of pure love of Lord Krishna. Then next is verse number 10. It is a great verse. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the intelligence by which they can come to me. Srila Prabhupada nicely explains the term buddhi yoga. It means action in Krishna consciousness and it is the highest intelligence. When one is serious about going back home to Godhead and sincerely takes to Krishna consciousness, he is acting in buddhi yoga. Buddhi yoga is therefore the process by which one gets out of material entanglement. It is important to know that the goal of life is Krishna. We come to know this only by hearing from the bona fide spiritual master and by associating with the devotees. With their help, we could attain the ultimate goal, Lord Krishna. If a devotee is unable to take advantage of gurus and devotees, the Lord from within, as the super soul or Paramatma, guides him so that he may reach him without difficulty. The only qualification is to be always engaged in loving service to Lord Krishna. Next, verse number 11 is also a very important verse. Tesham evanukam partham aham agnanajam tamaha nashayame atma bhavasto gnanadipena bhasvata. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Srila Prabhupada reiterates the fact that the Lord as Paramatma in the heart always guides his devotee who is serving him sincerely, even though he may not take advantage of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Hence, a sincere devotee is never bereft of knowledge, although he is uneducated or ignorant about the Vedic principles. The Lord cannot be understood by fruitive activities, mental speculation, or by mystic yoga. He is understood only by devotional service. The Lord reveals himself to the heart of a pure devotee who serves him selflessly. The Lord, as the sun in the heart of a devotee, dissipates the darkness of ignorance as a special mercy. By chanting the Hare Krishna mantra daily and by engaging in other devotional service activities, the material dust in the heart is cleared up and one is elevated to the platform of pure knowledge. The Lord automatically provides all the material necessities to a devotee who has purified his heart through sincere and loving devotional service. After hearing the four essential verses, 10.8 to 10.11, also known as Chatursloki Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna accepts Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna refers to Lord Krishna as Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Param Dhama, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth, the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, and the greatest. Great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth, which is revealed by the Lord himself to Arjuna. All the statements of Arjuna are confirmed by Vedic injunction. One can be purified only by surrendering to and serving the purest person, Lord Krishna, as confirmed by the Vedas and Narada Muni. Arjuna also states that Lord Krishna is the supreme, eternal, transcendental person who is free from bodily needs, birth and death. He is the oldest person and the cause of all causes. Srila Prabhupada emphasizes that the proper way to understand Lord Krishna is from the bona fide Guru in the disciplic succession and not by academic education. In his purport to verse number 14, Srila Prabhupada advises us to accept Lord Krishna's statements as the supreme truth, just as Arjuna did. When the Parampara system was lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. By emulating Arjuna, we will be able to understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita and accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the subsequent verses, Arjuna asks Lord Krishna to explain how he exists in his all-pervading aspect through his different energies and how to know and remember him always. Srila Prabhupada wonderfully explains that Arjuna is asking these questions for the benefit of the common people. The Supreme Lord Krishna is covered by his internal potency called Yogamaya and hence not visible to the common people. He reveals himself only to his devotees. Since materialists cannot understand Krishna spiritually, they are advised to concentrate the mind on physical things and see how Krishna is manifested as physical representations. In his purport to verse number 18, Srila Prabhupada aptly points out that mundane stories and topics will become boring after hearing them a few times, but the transcendental topics of the forms, glories, and pastimes of Lord Krishna are always nectarian and fresh and never boring. The more we hear them, the more we become enlightened and enlivened. In response to Arjuna's question, Lord Krishna replies in verse number 19 that his opulence is unlimited and hence he will describe only his prominent, splendorous manifestations. In verse number 20, he declares that he is the super soul seated in the hearts of all living entities and is the beginning, middle, and end of all beings. Srila Prabhupada nicely explains the significance of the term Gudakesha used for Arjuna. Gudakesha means one who has conquered the darkness of sleep. Those sleeping in the darkness of ignorance cannot understand how the Lord manifests himself in several ways in the material and spiritual worlds. Since Arjuna was above such darkness, Lord Krishna agrees to describe his various opulences. Lord Krishna is the soul of the entire cosmic manifestation by dint of his primary expansion. He enters as Mahavishnu into the total material energy known as Mahat Tattva and begins the material creation. He maintains the numerous universes and also annihilates them. In the subsequent verses, he reveals that of the Adityas, he is Vishnu, of lights, he is the radiant sun, of the Maruts, he is Marichi, of the stars, he is the moon, of the Vedas, he is the Samaveda, of the demigods, he is Indra, of the senses, he is the mind, in living beings, he is the living force or consciousness, of the Rudras, he is Lord Shiva, of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, he is Kuvera, the Lord of Wealth, of the Vasus, he is Agni, fire, of the mountains, he is Meru, of priests, he is Brihaspati, of generals, he is Kartikeya, of the bodies of water, he is the ocean, of vibrations, he is the transcendental Om, of sacrifices, he is the chanting of the holy names, Japa, of the sages among the demigods, he is Narada, among perfected beings, he is the sage Kapila, among the Daitya demons, he is the devotee Prahlada, of the flowing rivers, he is the Ganges, of the creators, he is Brahma, of the Pandavas, he is Arjuna, of those who seek victory, he is morality, and eventually he is the generating seed of all existence. Then verse number 41 is a beautiful verse. Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam Shrimad urjitam eva va tattadeva vagachatvam mama tejomsha sambhavam. Know that all opulent, beautiful and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Srila Prabhupada wonderfully explains that anything beautiful or extraordinary that we see in the material or spiritual worlds is just a very tiny fragment of Lord Krishna's unlimited opulence. In verse number 42, Lord Krishna says that there is no point in trying to understand how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. All things exist because he enters them as the super soul and sustains them. Srila Prabhupada emphasizes once again that all the demigods are tiny parts and parcels of Lord Krishna and hence subordinate to him. Therefore, demigod worship is discouraged. One must clearly understand that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage sincerely in his loving devotional service. By doing so, we will be situated in the transcendental position of eternity, knowledge and pure bliss and will become liberated from material miseries forever. That was the summary of chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita as it is. In my next video, I shall talk to you about chapter 11. Thank you. Hare Krishna.